Okay, this one was a tough one. Let's go ahead and cover today why I decided to spend all of my hard-earned savings on a RED Komodo and a Canon R5C. There is no doubt that getting a camera is a major investment for you as a content creator. It's one of those things that you end up spending so much money on it, and the nerve-wracking thing is you need to find a camera that will at least let you recoup your investment in spending in it, and more importantly, with this, the incredible pace of evolution of technology, it needs to last you and be future-proof enough to at least get, I would hope, 3, maybe 4 years of use out of it before you need to upgrade it. Now, recently I decided to upgrade my camera equipment. What I want to do is just make a short video here telling you kind of why I chose the cameras that I chose, spoiler, the RED Komodo and a Canon R5C, and let you know kind of my thinking, and hopefully if you're out there kind of wrestling with a decision like this yourself, maybe this gives you some insight and helps you make a decision. If not, maybe you just want to hear someone else struggled and you like laughing at someone else spend a whole bunch of money. So the truth is that my position right now is that I own a production company. And the truth is that today there are so many great cameras out there that are more than proficient and more than sufficient for commercial work. As a matter of fact, most of my clients will never be able to tell the difference of what I shoot on. And a great example of this is I shoot a lot of stuff with a Canon R5. And I know there's a big difference between standard 4K and 4K HQ on the Canon R5, and most of us pixel people will be able to tell a clear difference, but honestly, my clients have never been able to tell a difference between standard 4K and 4K HQ that's downsampled from an 8K sensor on the Canon R5. And really when I come down to a commercial camera, the main things that I need in a commercial camera are, I need a great image, obviously, ease of use and speed, dependable autofocus, manageable file sizes, and a wide range of frame rates to work with. These are the things that if you're working in a commercial world are very important. However, I found myself recently buying a RED Komodo. And the reason for these actually have nothing to do with my commercial work. Because in addition to my production company, I also do a lot of freelance work. And I love shooting narrative film. And this changes the equation quite a bit in the type of camera I wanted to buy. Now, the RED Komodo is a gorgeous camera, and I love the image. It is absolutely beautiful, and I like working with RED files, and I like how far you can push the RED RAW to get every ounce of energy you have when you're on a shoot. That being said, the RED Komodo does come with a lot of limitations. There's no internal NDs. The frame rate options are not really great for commercial work. It's not that great of a low light camera, it's average at best, and it is very expensive. Now the body might be $6,500, but you're never gonna spend that much on a RED Komodo. I ended up spending just about $14,000 to get my RED Komodo up and running to its full capacity. Now why would I do this? Why would I have a camera that doesn't quite meet my full commercial requirements? And really the reason comes down to cinema work. And when I say working with cinema work, I have very specific needs when I'm working in cinema and narrative type projects that I don't usually run into when I'm working on commercial projects. And the first one is when I'm working on a cinema project, really 24 frames a second, 23.97, those are the frame rates. So a lot of these high frame rate things that I often need in the world of commercial work are not as important. I need the extra dynamic range a RED Komodo gets me, and I don't need those frame rates. So I need very different things when I'm shooting cinema and narrative work. The other thing that's very important is that when I'm working with production crews, I need a format and a system that is as straightforward as possible. And RED RAW and ProRes are known quantities that production companies trust and want to work with. And, you know, RED carries a prestige name, and I was finding myself over time getting lots of commercial work, but I was losing gigs because of my camera system. And I had 4 feature films that I had in my past where I got to the process where they liked my portfolio, I had a good relationship with the director, and they actually wanted me to come and shoot the feature film. And what happened was, once we got into the budgeting part of the film, because I did not own a RED myself and was going to have to rent run for the project, I lost out to another DP that they may not have liked as much, but could bring that RED sensor onto the set. And that's just a reality, guys. That will happen in the industry. So I knew at some point if I wanted to get more into the narrative system, I was going to have to become a RED owner-operator myself. And the RED Komodo really provided that great entry point because it still doesn't break the bank. Even though I spent 14 grand on it, it's much cheaper than the 35, 40 grand I would have gotten for a bigger RED sensor. And I'm already immediately starting to see dividends from it. I've already started getting offers on much bigger projects now as a second unit or an operator because I have a Komodo sensor and I'm learning to use it. And the great thing about the Komodo is it can match a main RED camera on a production that you're using. So if you own a Komodo, that can get you on a bigger project as a second unit operator or as a second camera, and you start making those connections, you start making those little inroads that you need that are so critical in our industry. So it was a tough decision, but I figured I'd reached a point in my career where I needed to take a risk and see if the RED name and the RED product line could open doors for me that honestly I wasn't getting on the cameras that are more than sufficient and more than good enough for my commercial work. Now this also leads me to the next part of this. If I'm getting a RED Komodo, why am I still getting a Canon R5C? Well, and the Komodo really is a narrative beast, and I still want a good cinema level camera that allows me to work fast and with smaller crews, but the R5C right now covers all the bases that I need in a commercial camera. Now, it doesn't have quite the dynamic range of the C70, that's the only downbeat, but it's got great autofocus, it's got a great body that I'm very comfortable working with. I can set it up easy on gimbals, I can set it up easy on easy rigs, everything about it works really well. And now that they've fixed the overheating issue, I have access to so many more frame rates and I don't have to stress shooting those frame rates when I'm in a commercial camera. And those are the things I want. A RED is great when you're on a bigger set and you have more crew, but I love having a Canon R5C. I'm very, very excited. I guarantee you I will be using the R5C on a lot of commercial work because not only that, my clients often want me to get photography, and having a camera that's 45 megapixels that I can switch out of modes so quickly and still get dynamic professional images is something that I think I'll be using a ton in commercial works. And really what it comes down to when you're looking at this, do you need a RED? And I think that really depends on where you want to push your career. I mean, if you're mostly interested in smaller productions and commercial work, I would say no. This is a camera that is designed and built to be used for cinema and larger production settings. So if you are someone that knows that you're going to be doing mostly commercial work or working run and gun, single operator kind of smaller operations, then I don't think you need to go and spend 14 grand on a camera, especially with all the great offerings from Panasonic, Sony, and Canon that exist right now for literally fractions of the price. So it's just one of those things that I think you need to make a decision as your shooter going out there. I know for me personally, I was bumping into a career wall by not having a cinema level camera that would get me in the door. And I asked a lot of the directors and production houses that I work for, I was really interested in getting a C300. None of them were that interested in that because that's more of a commercial and documentary type camera. But the second I mentioned that I was looking at getting a RED, I got instant interest in what I had, and it has actually started to lead me getting more jobs in the narrative field. But anyway, guys, that's just my experience. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Go ahead and leave me a comment down below. And yeah, guys, go out there, keep on shooting, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon.